All
Welcome
right.
to
Would you?
Sprint 4.74.0, codename Silver. Over to you, George.
All righty. We have the Sprint Demos doc, and you can find, let's see here, desktop 2. In the Sprint Demos doc, you can find videos for demos from Fleet Desktop resending configuration profiles from the My Device page.
Hello, I'm just going to do a quick demo of this feature here. So I'm going to start by reading the story. This is on Fleet Desktop, on my device page. I want to be able to resend configuration profiles. The story is, as an end user on Fleet Desktop, my device page, I want to resend the Wi-Fi configuration profile so that I can get back online if my certificate to connect me to the network expires. Basically, this allows the end user to self-serve when it comes to profiles that need to be resent. So in this case, it would be a Wi-Fi configuration profile, but it can be any Apple mobile config profile, as you'll see. So if I go to my fleet, I'm on the controls page, OS settings. I have, in custom settings, I have two Apple profiles uploaded. If I go to the hosts and I look at this host that I have enrolled, this is on the IT admin side. I can see which profiles, I can see everything is verified. I can resend from here. But what's new about this feature is I'm going to go to the host itself. So this is the end user. This is, I'll show you how to get there. This is the My Device page from Fleet Desktop. I go to the details, I can see OS settings. And now from the end user side, I can resend profiles myself. So I'm just going to resend this one. It sets some configuration around 1Password. And you can see that it's pending the enforcement of this profile. And if we give it enough time, it'll go back to verified. And let's see if that will, yeah, see it's already in verifying, and then eventually it will go back to verified. But yeah, this allows the end user to self-service when they need profiles resent. There, it's already back and verified. It takes some of the burden off of the IT admin, and that's it.
You can unenroll or turn off MDM for iOS and iPadOS BYOD hosts.
I'll now demo this unenroll / turn off MDM for iOS, iPadOS, and bring your own device hosts. So the user story goes, as an IT admin, I want to unenroll, parentheses, turn off MDM when an end user loses their personal BYOD, iOS and / iPadOS host, so that I can make sure no one can access organization resources. Basically, before we blocked on enrolling devices, so yeah, I've gone ahead and enrolled a personal, aka BYOD device by logging into your managed Apple account. You also pointed Apple Business Manager for iPhones to your MDM server. And now we can see that we actually do have the unenroll button available for personal devices, which wasn't there before. So if we go ahead and if I click unenroll, so basically you will be unenrolled next time this host checks in. And we can see that MDM status is now off. And we can also see that activities are produced. The activity naming is slightly different because it relies on some work from the Android unenrolled story. And we should now see that the fleet profiles are gone. We can see the root certificate authority is left, but that's actually another bug that we are tracking somewhere else.
And then there's a new error message for trying to upload a signed profile into Fleet that will now error and indicate how you can unsign your profile, and Fleet will manage signing it for you.
Right. Today, I want to demo the beta error message for when uploading a signed macOS, iOS, or iPadOS configuration profile. So the user story goes, as an IT admin uploading a signed macOS, iOS, or iPadOS configuration profile, I want to see an easy to understand error message so that I know Fleet will sign the profile for me. And that's simply because Fleet doesn't accept already signed profiles. So I have a profile that's signed by the iMazing tool, and I'm just going to go and upload it right here. So it's in the shared VM folder, test signed profile. And then we see couldn't add configuration profiles can't be signed. Fleet will sign the profile for you. And again, if we just quickly check the network tab, that's the same issue for the API response and for GitOps as well. So now I'm gonna go to the guide and run this command. So now I'm going to run the command and the guide on the signed configuration profile, and basically it outputs the unsigned profile. So we will have to save a new one. We will just do that in the same folder, and we will say test unsigned profile. That's nice, profile. And then we will try and upload this one, because that's just a regular. And then we upload this one, basically seeing it go through.
All right. And lastly, we missed a great demo from Sarah over Smallstep CAs. That'll conclude.
All right, and sorry about that. I think we're segueing at the same time. We only have room for one segue. Thank you, MDM. Appreciate that, and that we have those videos due to the recording snafu at the beginning of demos today. Over to Sharon and orchestration.
Okay, thank you, Luke. What an opening for the demo. So this sprint had a lot of stuff called Silver, and was the, as you said, Silver Bullet, a lot of stuff. And we'll start with something that Victor built. I'll give the background for that. So one of our bigger customers want us to block the user from exiting the setup experience, meaning when they install software that is considered critical, we don't want the user to start working on their computer when it's not set up yet. And in preparations for that, we are doing some software retries to make sure that they can succeed without blocking unnecessary. So we have a video from Victor, and we'll watch that first.
In this story, we're adding retries to setup experience for software installs. As an IT admin, I want Fleet to try software installs during setup experience up to 3 times by default, so that I can be confident that my end users will get the software they need, even if they're setting up their workstations on a slower internet connection. So internet problems is the primary reason for this feature, but it will also work on any fails. So let's go to Fleet. In setup experience, I have 2 pieces of software. For Linux, if I go to software available for install and I take a look at it, I will see that I have sleep here and I have exit, so the install will fail. So let's go ahead and install Fleet on my Linux. Let's do that. And I am monitoring here. When install is installed, it'll take a couple seconds. Let me pause. Okay, we see the installer is trying. So in the logs, we see installation attempts 1. It's trying to install. It's at some point it should fail, and it should try another attempt. Let's see installation fail. So because it failed in the post install script, it's going to try to roll back the installation, and now it moved on to attempt number 2. So of course the installation can be seen over here, and if we go back to our Fleet instance, this is the host, and if we go to activities, we should see we should see the intermediate failed installation here. So we do see that it failed at 329.13. So it'll continue to trying to install. If we go through the logs, we're on 303, so we should have a new activity for the second. So we do see an activity for the second failed install with a different timestamp here. So in this case, it will terminally fail the installation. So it is possible that you would have a network issue and you would be unable to, the agent will be unable to send this intermediate fail. In that case, it'll log it in OS query logs with an error saying it couldn't send this intermediate install update, and it'll continue retrying the installation. So the last thing is the guide. We will be updating the guides for macOS, Linux, and Windows, where we will mention that during setup experience, the software will attempt to be installed up to 3 times. And that's it for this feature. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Victor. And next we have what a lot of people were waiting for, the Windows setup experience, and it will be presented by Jacob. It was done by Lucas, Dante, and Jacob. Jacob, take it, please. Is Jacob on the call? Yeah.
Thank you, Sharon. Just queuing up the video here. So we've now expanded Fleet's capabilities with setup experience software installs to include Windows hosts. As an IT admin, I want to install software during new Windows setup and show progress to my end user so that I can make sure Windows workstations have the required software config before a new employee starts working. And the way this works is just like with Linux, which we saw in the last demo. We'll just go here to Controls, Setup Experience, install software for the team that we want to set it up for, and select software that we have prepared for this team for Windows hosts. And you can learn more about that by going to this Learn How link, which will take you to the software page. But assuming you've got that set up, we select items for setup experience install, and then when we install FleetD on our Windows host here, we will expect to see the same pop-up of the install monitoring user interface until those installs are complete, at which point it will switch to the usual My Device page. All right, we've got FleetD installed, the host. And we've got our default browser opening to the My Device page in the initial setup experience software install view. And now we'll just be in this view until both of those installations have completed, whether successfully or unsuccessfully. We're not doing any kind of blocking of the host at this point. And I may go ahead and cut the video at this point, just so we're not sitting here while these install. All right, so our first package installed successfully. And when the final package either succeeds or fails, we will be redirected to the usual My Device page. All right, and there's the usual My Device page. Now, if we look for those two pieces of software, we should expect them to be here on our machine. Yep, there's VS Code. Okay.
Thank you, Jacob. Any questions about the Windows setup? Okay. Thank you again, Lucas, Dante, and Jacob. Next feature is about Arch Linux. Arch Linux is gaining a lot of popularity lately, and the developer of one of those OSs, called DHH, developed a system called Omarchy, and he recommended Fleet as something that could work on this OS. We picked up the glove very quickly, and Dante and Lucas will present how Fleet is supported on Omarchy. Dante, take it.
Thanks, Sharon. 1 second, let me just share my video here.
Hey, so this story is support Omarchy Arch Linux. As a Fleet user, I want my Fleet server and Fleet agents to be installed on Omarchy OS and get basic software information. So this story is basically to support Omarchy OS and by extension further operating systems based on Arch Linux, such as Arch Linux proper and also Manjaro. We can see here we have a host, Omarchy. We have this new operating system type, Arch Linux rolling. Arch being rolling means that it doesn't come in fixed releases. It just constantly updates software to the newest releases. So there's no version number for any given Arch Linux installation. You can see here it supports everything as a normal Fleet agent. We have online, we have issues, we have disk space, it supports disk encryption, memory, and all the other regular host statistics. We can see also it supports full software ingestion and the icons for the software that we recognize as well. We have 1Password, we have the new Pacman table here. This is not included in the OS Query Core. This is a Fleet extension on OS Query Core to support Pacman, the package manager. We can see also, if we check for vulnerabilities, a good number of packages also get recognized for vulnerabilities. And you can see here, for example, Docker as the correct Docker icon. We can see it has 8 vulnerabilities on this host. We can also see, here's my Omarchy installation that I've been using for testing. You can see here, Omarchy. And we can also check out at the top here, you see the Fleet desktop icon. You can see the Fleet desktop version. The My Device page is working correctly, and we have About Fleet. If we click on it on the device, we can also see the same information that we would see with any other normal Linux installation. Software, policies, all the normal stuff. Looking forward to shipping this out and getting it in the hands of users as well. We can see here we also generate fleetctl packages for Arch Linux. For example here, the new package type is .pkg.tar.zst. That's the most recent version of the Arch Linux package format. If we allow this to generate, it should just take a second, but as normal it should pop up a window and we'll see our package that we'll be able to transfer to Arch Linux host for installation. There we go. And there you have it. Full support for Fleet on Omarchy and Arch Linux in general. Thanks a lot.
Thank you,
There you have
Dante
it.
and Lucas. Any questions about Omarchy support? Okay, thank you again. The next thing is a result of the hackathon we did a few months ago. And one of the ideas were to create a page dedicated for labels, and Jacob will present it. Take it, Jacob.
Thank you, Sharon. Yeah, started this at the hackathon and fleshed it out in this sprint. So I'll just play the demo now. Hi, so we've got a new labels page. The user story is, as a user managing labels, I want to see a dedicated page for labels so that I can view and edit them without needing to find them on the host's page. And you'll be able to read more about that in the Managing Labels in Fleet guide that you can find at this URL. So So here in our, spoiler alert, here in our UI, you can access the labels page by clicking the user menu and hitting labels, and then you get to our page. Now, as a global admin, I have the ability to create a new label. I can sort the table by name, description, or type, and I can take actions on each of these labels. So if I want to view all of the hosts that this label filters, I can do that. I can also edit the label, and we will stay here, which is in line with our UI for editing other entities. I can also delete a label. Now, if I am a team admin or maintainer, I'm a maintainer here, and I go to the labels page, I can add a label, and for existing labels, if I did not author them, oh, I did author this label in a previous minute, so I can take action on labels that I authored. So I can edit this label, or I can delete it. Now, as a team observer, I will not be able to do any of those things. Just view and labels and filter hosts by those labels. Okay. I'd just like to add, I didn't make it super clear in the video. If I'm a team maintainer, I cannot do any write actions on labels that I did not create.
Okay, thank you, Jacob. Next, we have Team, who will present two features. One is the ability to view vulnerabilities for an NPM packages installed, and the other is a JetBrains plugin software collection, which will be wrapped up collection this sprint, and next sprint we'll be able to view vulnerabilities. Team, take it away.
All right. Yeah, I got one video and one live demo. Oh, sorry, let me reshare with audio real quick. Hopefully that works. All right. Let's give this a go. As a security engineer, I want to see the global NPM packages and their vulnerabilities installed on my macOS and Linux hosts so that I can understand what vulnerable NPM packages are installed across my fleet of hosts. So current support, we currently support NPM packages on Linux, but not the vulnerabilities associated with them. This story is to add macOS support and detect vulnerabilities on both. So I'm going to switch over here. I already kind of staged everything up, ran inventory and our vulnerabilities job. So I look at this Mac OS host here. Look for, now you will see NPM package, and it is vulnerable. Poke in here real quick. Look at these vulnerabilities. It is for Vega in this case. Thank you. You're welcome. All right, so next up, I'm going to do a bit of a live demo for JetBrains plugins. Let's see, so not going to read this whole thing. Everybody knows what JetBrains is. They make a lot of IDEs. They make a whole lot of them. And that's kind of an important aspect to this story because we want to not just surface the plugin, but what plugin it's actually installed in. So very similar demo environment as the last one. We go into software. I installed Copilot on pretty much everything.
I think you might have the wrong screen share, Tim.
Oh. Did anybody actually see the video?
No.
The
All
last...
right, wait. We did see the last one.
Oh, I'm very confused. Okay.
Or I guess we should say we can't see anything related to JetBrains.
Gotcha. Do you see Fleet?
Yes, got it.
Okay, perfect. Oh no. I might have killed my demo here. Let's see. Well, this is what I get for
on no team.
Demoing too many things here. Sorry, what was that?
Do you mean to be on no team?
I do. Let's give this a quick refresh. Oh no. Oh, my software disappeared. All right, you're gonna have to believe me before I reset my environment here. Let's see if I can show. Props, it was so cool 5 minutes ago.
Demo gods.
You want to circle back and
yeah, let's circle back.
Okay, cool.
Okay, thank you, team. So next and last for the features, we have Scott with 3 cool features. One is supporting Fleet Host ID on for labels for GitOps manual labels. Another is a cool thing to be able to read private key from AWS Secrets Manager, and something regarding Fleet Desktop on Linux, support Firefox Chrome when installed via Snap. Scott, I'll let you present it. Take it.
All right. Thanks, y'all. I think we talking for a while, so buckle in. So yeah, the first one I'm gonna show is this GitOps manual static labels supporting Fleet Host ID. The story is, as an IT admin using a public GitOps repository, I want to assign manual labels to specific hosts using hosts Fleet ID so that I can avoid exposing sensitive info like serial number or UUID and avoid relying on mutable fields like hostname. So the idea here is that when you're using GitOps to create manual labels right now, if you look at this one that I have set up, you specify them usually by host name or serial number or the UUID that comes from OS Query. And the ask was to allow specifying the hosts in here by their fleet ID, which is both unique and not identifying anything sensitive about the host. So if we go to my fleet instance, you can see, thanks to the beautiful new labels page, I've got one manual label set up already, and it just has this one host on it. If I go back to my hosts, or sorry, my label specification in my GitOps file, I can change this now to use some IDs. So I'll just put in good old 1, 2, and 3. Save that and run my GitOps. I have to run the default file because it contains the label, and then also my no teams file because it has my controls in it. And if we go back and reload my label, you'll see now that I have these 3 hosts in it that are, if you look at my status bar at the bottom, you got host 3, host 2, and host 1 in there. So that is that story. Next up, we have Fleet Desktop on Linux, port Firefox and Chrome when installed via Snap or Flatpak. This was a community PR that I kind of just shepherded through. So the story here is, as a Fleet Desktop user on Linux with browsers installed via Snap or Flatpak instead of apt, I want Fleet Desktop to open the browser when clicking my device so that I can check my device compliance status. So basically the issue here was that when browsers were installed in certain Linux flavors using Snap or Flatpak instead of the apt package manager, which is, being considered, I think, widely as a nicer way to install apps like Chrome. But when people were doing that, sometimes going to my device and clicking it, it wasn't opening the browser. We're seeing, as an aside, issues like this come in from time to time, and it's making us reconsider the way that Fleet Desktop is launched. And we've opened a story to investigate doing it as a user system D service instead of the way that it's being launched now, which would solve a lot of these issues. But in any case, Dan Fury came through with this PR which does a better job of mimicking the user's the GUI user's environment when we're opening the browser. And so it took this through, patched up a couple of things, and this not only helped solve this specific problem, but also I think unlocked a little bit of the Omarchy issues that we were having with desktops. So feeding two birds with one stone, as we say on the orchestration team. The last one that I have on here is read Fleet Server Private Key from AWS Secrets Manager. This is another community PR from Jonathan Rudenberg. They did a great job on this one as well. Just kind of a couple of patches here, but pretty much just right into main. So the story here is, as a user self-hosting Fleet and running Docker and AWS, I want Fleet to read the server private key from Secrets Manager so I don't have to add the AWS CLI to my Docker container to read from Secrets Manager. Which is kind of a long way of saying that instead of, a lot of times we'll have this in environments, an environment variable, the Fleet private key that we use to encrypt some sensitive config information. We use it to encrypt enrollment profiles or to sign enrollment profiles. And the ask was to be able to store this private key in AWS Secrets Manager instead of providing it in environment. And what was being done is people were using the CLI to kind of feed that in. And they created a system here so that we can use these new config variables, private key ARN, which is the resource identifier on AWS of the private key in Secrets Manager. So you can specify that and we'll get it from Secrets Manager for you. You can also, as with some of our other AWS configuration, provide a role that you want the current user to assume in order to be able to access the secret key. And if you're using a role, you can also specify an external ID to identify if there's a third party being used. So not really a demo to be done here, but it works great. Thanks again, Jonathan. And I think back over to you, Sharon.
Hey Scott, were new Fleet API endpoints added for that feature?
New Fleet API endpoints? No, this is purely configuration. So it's just new configuration variables that you can specify.
Okay.
Okay, great. Thank you, Scott, for these nice features. And I'm hearing in my headset, in my earset, that team is ready.
All right, this is gonna be very quick. Yes, it's gonna be very quick. Yeah, here we go. Just took a little bit of finagling here. So as you can see here, we have GitHub Copilot. It is not the same GitHub Copilot, but it's because it's on several different JetBrains products. And so we have this in the API as a new attribute across the board. See it here, kind of going all the way down. We also have icons, extension icons as well. So that should go all the way down the line here. There's actually a surprising number of APIs to touch here, including the infamous host software API should also be showing here as well. There you go. That's all I got.
Okay, thank you, team. And as I said earlier, next sprint, we are going to work on matching those versions of these plugins to fit the CVEs and CPEs, so we can also tell vulnerabilities. So stay tuned, everyone. And look, this concludes the feature part. We have more in the bug section. So back to you.
Awesome. Thank you, orchestration group. Some really cool stuff. Very cool to see a hackathon project come into the product. So thank you for driving that, Jacob and Rachel Shaw, for the design work on that and everything else. Arch Linux is going to be really huge for us, and really appreciate the agility in responding to that, so we could show off our capabilities quickly. And next, we're going to move over to the software product group. And I'm realizing that Ian Littman is not here today, and I was supposed to ask Scott Gress if he could demo Ian's feature, but I forgot to.
I got you, bro.
Oh, sweet. Thank you.
We can do it. We're going to do it live. So everybody buckle up again. I should probably find the story, though. Okay.
Quick interjection that Scott helped save the software team's bacon multiple times this week. So big ups to Scott and Tim as well.
And Victor.
Scott,
it's really takes a village.
Yeah. So thank you.
That's what we're here for, baby. Okay, so custom icons GitOps. As an IT admin, I want to manage custom icons via GitOps so that I can use my existing GitOps workflows to manage Fleet. Ian did the bulk of the work on this, and I kind of took over to do some bug fixes and get it across the line. But just channel my Ian as you watch this. So custom icons has already been implemented nicely on the software team. So if we go to the UI here and I click on my little app, and there's only one logical icon for anything, which is Fleety. So we're going to save that, and you'll see we have this custom icon. So part one of this feature is that we can export this to GitOps workflow file or YAML file using generate GitOps. So I'll demonstrate that here. I'm going to output to this demo icons folder, get our regular notes here. And if I open up that folder and my Jets team, you'll see my software package now has this icon path showing the icon that was installed. Can go into libjets icons, and whoa, there it is, larger than life. So that's part one. And part two is that we can, of course, go in reverse and specify a different icon. This also works for Fleet maintained apps and VPP apps. I'm just going to demo a regular package here because that's what I have installed. So if I change this icon to this other one that I have, that I copied into that folder called Taro, and go ahead and run my GitOps for that team. And magically, it has already updated in the background. So yeah, you'll see that the new icon is used. I believe it should be used also when we look at it in the list. So goes in both directions. Pretty neat stuff that Ian did. It will download all the icons and checks all the hashes when you're uploading to make sure that we're not unnecessarily uploading and downloading icons multiple times. And like I said, it works with VPP apps and fleet maintained apps as well. So kind of full workflow now for using your custom icons if you have GitOps is part of your system. Back to you, Luke.
Awesome. Thank you for being Johnny on the spot there. Scotty on the spot. Appreciate it. Next up, we have something really exciting to show off. Noah is going to fill in for Rachel while Rachel is traveling. We have a video, and I'm going to hand it off to Noah.
Sounds good. Thanks, Luke. Yeah, Rachel Perkins and Mike Thomas have been working hard on this story, making colors in the Fleet product consistent with the brand as dictated by the fleetdm.com website. As a user of the Fleet product, I want to see a consistent brand experience across all Fleet touchpoints. So imagine you're like in the API docs, flipping back and forth from the API to the Fleet product, or you came in through the fleetdm.com website to learn about Fleet in the first place, and you spun up Fleet Control to try Fleet. We want the experience to be consistent. And so I'm going to share Rachel's recorded demo. Let me share my video and audio. Here we go. Let me know if you can't hear.
Hey everybody, I was hoping to do this not async, but things are a little crazy right now, being on vacation and having to check out. So I'm just going to go over this confidential issue 11765. This is actually a giant rework of the look and feel of our Fleet product, headed by Mike Thomas. And so in this issue, it says make colors in Fleet product consistent with the brand, but we just wanted to revamp the entire look and feel for it to be consistent everywhere, not just the colors, but the look and feel as well. So the user story is, as a user of the Fleet product, I want to see a consistent brand experience across all of Fleet touchpoints, including the product, and I want to better differentiate the hierarchy of buttons. And so if you click on this first link here, it will bring you to these wireframes. On the ready page here is a lot of the pages that Mike Thomas got to pretty much iron out as much of the design as possible. And then up above, you can see that we have certain elements, patterns, and components already worked out to have a new look and feel to them. So one of the things that you might notice is this purge the purple. So we are getting rid of this kind of louder purple, and we are moving towards black, gray, and greens. So you'll see a lot more black, gray, and green inside the app. So let me go ahead and show you what that looks like. So this is my local dev environment here. And you can see that we no longer have any purple links or buttons on this page. This purple will eventually be gone once we get to it. But it has a lot of cleaner, smoother look, a little bit of a blue gradient that you'll see everywhere on every page, with lots of white boxes, gray outlines, things that are clickable will now have what we call Core Fleet Black on them. And you'll see hover states as well. And so all the buttons that are this color, you'll see a hover state with a light gray background over it. And then you'll also see these cleaner nav tabs. So let's go ahead and show you what my favorite thing is to do is tab through the app. So things are just a lot cleaner looking. You'll see that I am tabbing through up here. And things are all being hovered with this black color now, all the way through the app. So, and yeah, and then let's go ahead to a page that has more links. So links now have a gray underline with a hover state that you'll see like this little animation on, and you'll see a lot cleaner tables with white backgrounds. We're doing a lot of white backgrounds on things, and then hover states are going to be that sharp black look. We have two different tabs. We have our primary tabs, which are these up here, and then the secondary tabs have the underline look to them. A lot of the padding has been updated to be more consistent. So if you were to go through your app, we have a lot of 24 pixel vertical paddings going on to make things a little bit more separated and cleaner. And yeah, so when you get a chance, come take a look at this, see how you like it, the feel for it. And this has been a really big project between Mike Thomas and I, with the help of Noah and all of the reviewers. So Scott, Gabe, Jacob, and then even Luke got a lot of this started as well. So you'll see lots of stuff going on, and hopefully you guys like it.
Yep. And the plan is to get this deployed to dog food as soon as we can, because a big effort that's still ongoing and will take, I think most of the team, is to make sure the padding is consistent across pages. We won't be able to get that totally right until we get a ton of eyes on the product. So soon to be merged in so we can deploy to dog food and then ship it. Back to you, Lou.
And by soon, it'll be a little more soon-ish because we have to ship 4.74 first. But as soon as we do, we'll push this up. And right now that's scheduled for next Wednesday. Huge improvement. A lot of work went into it from Mike Thomas, Rachel, Noah. Appreciate everyone's contribution. And it was kind of a new use case for our working groups. And I'll share a handbook link here in a second describing what that is. But essentially a kind of semi-temporary working product group that gets spun up for a specific task like this, like updating the look and feel of the website. All right, that is it for features.
Luke, if I may, we forgot one feature.
Oh, I'm sorry. You have one?
Yeah, we forgot one feature that was accidentally put in the bug section. So let me quickly present it. This is about a future feature for conditional access with Okta. And I'm not sure if that is confidential at the moment. So if it is, we should remove it from the video. But otherwise, let me present it. Excellent work done by Victor. To plan ahead how we are going to add conditional access like we did with the Microsoft Entra only for Okta. We have a few options here. We are currently reviewing all of the options. The probable option that we will go is to use MTLS identified hosts and use that. I will not go into details. It's something that probably I'll ask Victor to present when he does the POC, but the plan work is done very well and looks promising for next sprint for us to do the POC and then develop it in a sprint after that. That's it for me.
Cool. Thank you. And that is all of the features in 4.75.0, the Sterling Silver release. And we're going to go into bug fixes and improvements, starting with MDM. So back to George.
All righty. We will have a sneak, also one extra feature coming right after here. But here's the, oh, I'm not sharing it. Apologies. Here is the list of many, many, many bugs that we crushed this sprint on MDM. One of the biggest pain points was multiple lock commands causing MDM host to become inaccessible. But feel free to peruse the rest of these. A lot of them are cleanups, improvements on just usability and overall ease of use. But with that, if anybody has any questions over anything that MDM crushed this sprint, let me know. Otherwise, I'll turn it over to Jordan for our final feature that MDM delivered this sprint with Android profiles.
Hey, thanks, George. Yes, I'm going to do a quick demo of configuration profiles on Android. This was a feature that several team members worked on. So we'll go through our user story here real quick. Our user story is, as an IT admin, I want to add Android configuration profiles so that I can enforce custom settings on Android hosts to keep them compliant and secure. So if you were familiar with our prior Android work, we allow you to enroll an Android device. It enrolls as a personal device, actually a work profile. And so we've added the ability to send profiles and policies to this host. And what those are actually just chunks of this big Android management API policy. So as a demo, I'm actually going to send it this camera disabled policy, which is going to disable the camera in the work profile. So you can see this policy has this overall camera disabled or this camera disabled key in it. It's a bigger part of this overall policy, but Fleet allows you to upload these kind of smaller chunks. And so I've got my Android device here. It's a Samsung A16. Sorry, the resolution is not great. I'm just using the free version of this app. But you can see that the camera works. How you doing? Actually, I'll leave that on. You can see what happens when I disable it live. So I'm going to upload that profile. And so this is going to take a few moments. It's got to reach out to Google. And then, yeah, so you can see the device still hasn't applied it yet, but it should be applying it pretty soon. And in just a moment, I'll get kicked out. And then a little bit after that, we should see the sorry, give me 1 second. Like I said, there's several things going on in the background here, so it can take a few minutes for this to actually apply. Double check that I did open the work profile version of camera. Okay. The demo gods are being unkind today, so I'll give it just another minute or two, but it should, once this device checks back in with Google, be kicking me out, and further attempts will tell me that I cannot open the camera due to security settings.
And just as a quick question, currently we do not have any ways to trigger that sync or a refetch of any kind, but maybe something we could look into.
Yeah, I don't think so we tell Google that we've got a new policy version and it's supposed to update the policy on the device, but yeah, I don't think we can force it to sync. So I don't know if it's disconnected from Wi-Fi, but yeah, we haven't received a notification or anything back from Google on this one either. So possibly a bug there, possibly just the Google API being slow. That is the extent of that demo. Sorry that didn't work out. It was put together at the last minute, but yeah, I'll try to see if I can get something better recorded and drop it in Slack later if I can. Thanks.
All right, appreciate that, Jordan. That's it for the MDM team.
That's awesome. Very brave to do a live demo when a third party service is involved. But that looks really cool, and I'm sure we'll get a good video of that. Cool. Did you want to go over bug fixes and improvements, George?
Yeah, I held up the long list of issues. There was mostly user experience, just tweaks and nicer error messages. But the biggest one was multiple locks being sent to a host being an issue that we covered at the top.
Cool. Sounds good. And then over to Sharon and orchestration for their bug fixes and improvements.
Thank you, Luke. So we have 20-something minutes. We'll try to allow also, well, let's do it quick. We already presented the this that should have been in the features. So I'm going to read Victor's bugs quickly. And if you have any questions, please stop me. We updated Go major version to 125.1. macOS Linux packages have duplicate copy of Fleet desktop binary and or O2D. This means the binaries will now be smaller. Fixed a 422 errors when hitting MDM commands endpoint. Distributed interval on some hosts doesn't match agent options. Not a product bug. Fixed agent options on dog food. We had unreadable HTML in orbit logs. These were fixed. Software ingestion fails to fails for multiple versions with same bundle ID was fixed. In Fleet D 148, which is part of 474 for the Linux setup from last sprint, there were duplicate enrolled serial numbers, so we fixed that. 474, which is performance issues if using a large number of Yara signatures, database long lock times, and degraded performance during software ingestion, increased DB load and 502s after upgrading to 73.1, improved. And last for Victor is developer experience, add OTEL instructions for all Fleet API endpoints, and update the Golang CI lint to 2.4.0. That was Victor. Thank you, Victor. And Dante, can you quickly go over your stuff as well?
Yeah, for sure. I guess I'll share my screen for this. Hold on. There's not a whole lot. I have Luke's encryption escrow taking longer than expected. Some of the copy was incorrect and didn't match how long things would actually take. And for the fleetctl preview command, there were some debug logs that are now no longer going to be displayed, and it should be a much cleaner experience. I also highlighted the username and password that we used for the demo instance so users can log in easier.
Thank you. Scott, you want to go next?
Sure. Let's see what we got. Where's the... Yep. So that's scrolling up. Okay. Nothing returned when calling dates expiration value and password policy. This was actually ended up being a documentation change. There's a field in our password policy table in OS query that looks like to a reasonable person that it would be telling you how many days you have left until your password expires, but it is not actually the case. It is a synonym for the length of password expiration period column, whose name escapes me, but if you set that to 10, as in it should expire in 10 days, dates to expiration will also always be 10 days. So it's just a difference in documentation. Killed scripts displayed as pending on the batch progress page. This was an issue with our new batch scripts readouts and displays where we were showing them as a script as pending on a host if Orbit actually killed it for timing out rather than it dying for some other reason. So that's been fixed. Oh, this one. Big time. Query cursor out of alignment on Chrome OS. This haunted us for many sprints on Chrome OS and also some versions of Windows. The query editor in the UI, the cursor would be in weird spots, like in the middle of characters and stuff. Finally found the offending CSS rule that was causing that and fixed it. And as far as improvements, we have introduced this ADR to migrate away from the virtual node teams concept onto having a default team for our instances. So more to come on that in future sprints.
Thank you, Scott. Next, we have Lucas.
All right. Let me share. So we fixed conditional access errors that were not like super clear to the IT admin. So we added some better error message in there. When, for example, the group that we request that you have in Entra doesn't exist, or if the IT admin performing the configuration doesn't have permissions on Entra, then we'll show a good user error. Well, when deleting conditional access, this was a small UI thing. We weren't like clear in the tenant ID. That's happening now. We also added a spinner while the deletion happened. This one is the Fleet desktop application. We currently have some rate limiting on the server side to prevent brute force attacks on like the Fleet desktop token, because you don't have a path authentication; it's a token authentication on the URL. So that rate limiting was being too too sensitive and was actually rate limiting valid traffic. So we basically decided to change this algorithm with feedback from Robert and Jorge in the infrastructure team. Thank you both. They provided with a good idea. on this. So we implemented a new algorithm using a new implementation. So that's coming out. We got a contribution from the community to fix using Google Cloud Storage as S3 storage for software, for cars, for everything, instead of like AWS. This is like helpful for people trying to deploy Fleet on Google Cloud. And yeah, we got it merged. The fix really helped. So thank you thank you to the community. And then this one, I think this one is actually the one that Scott mentioned. That was also a fix from the community that helped fix the Omarchy issues there. Yeah, that's all.
Thank you, Lucas. And next we have Jacob.
Hello, hello. So, okay. Yeah, so this was some padding inconsistencies. We have this kind of component in our UI that, so if you look at this label here, it's just like any other label, but then as its container shrinks and it starts to overflow, it truncates and then shows the full name in this tooltip. And then as you can see here on dog food, that was having some issues, so fix that. Tooltips appear too quickly. This was basically all over the UI. The tooltips would pop up more or less immediately when you hover over a tooltip anchor element, and that was getting in the way of some users' experience, trying to say, for example, if you're going downward in a form and you over a tooltip, you might have a button under the tooltip get blocked by that tooltip. So this just added a delay to tooltips showing, so as not to interfere with users' experience in that way. An improvement to one of the new dynamic fields of the IDP label form. This was, we were saying yes, no, and pass, fail in some places, and had a red icon and a gray icon in other places. This made sure that those were all the latest. I don't remember which is which, but it's all the latest now. Pass, fail is the latest. That's what we're doing now. And then we had this kind of bug where here's dog food. If you are selecting a tab and then you select the same tab, it kind of reloads the whole page. And so just address that. Now it just, whoa. Why did I do that? Interesting. Oh, it is refreshing. Yeah, so now it doesn't reload the whole page like that. Okay, that's it.
Thank you, Jacob. And we sometimes disregard small bugs like the pass, fail, yes, no, but actually this came from a customer that policies, instead of pass, fail, said yes, no, and it caused them to create the whole set of policies to the other way around. So they thought if it returns one, it fails, and the other way around. So all the policies didn't work. Thank you for fixing that, Jacob, and hopefully this will fix the thing. Next, we have Juan here. I believe Juan is not on the call today, so I'll present it. So for Juan, delete script model shows outdated message about pending executions. Juan fixed a database issue about Fleet, confusing cache prepared statement when the database server restarts quickly. This was kind of a race condition thing. FleetCTL GitOps dry run flag should not require specific position in command. Was fixed. Menu bar in Fedora 41 was not the icon was not presented, so Juan fixed that too. Linux key escrow dialog has a strange drop-down menu. This was fixed. The last two are related to probably the same problem, same issue, I don't remember, but anyway, Orbit Shell was not respecting the disable updates, and it caused OS Query to update, even if it was set, and also update itself, so that was fixed by Juan. These are the bugs that were solely done by Juan, and we have another one by Lucas and Juan. Lucas, you want to present it?
Yeah, that's just the FleetD version reported in the software inventory didn't match what was on the host because of auto update mechanism in FleetD. So we fixed that for Linux.
Okay, sounds great. And Luke, back to you. This was what the orchestration team did.
Cool. Thank you. A lot of great fixes. Had on your bug squashing shoes. Well, never mind that. We're going to go over to the software product group. I'm just going to run through these real quick because Jordan has his demo ready to go back over, I believe. So what did we do? 4.73.3. That's taken up a lot of time for software this sprint. Thank you, Haziel and Constantine, for taking lead on that. We are targeting getting 4.73.3 out today. That's a P1 and a P2 for a customer involving software ingestion, which is a sticky problem space for us. And so appreciate all the hard work there. Constantine, privileges never show as installed in Fleet Library or self-service. Marco got one in with updating a Firefox logo for software inventory, so that's cool to see. Rachel Perkins fixed a tooltip copy, and then Jonathan Katz was the bug warrior, incorrectly flagging vulnerabilities, correct bundle identifier extraction, false positive vulnerabilities. Got 2 of those, and change login criteria for last opened, false positive vulnerability, another one. So we got 3 false positives. So very cool. Appreciate all that. And over to Jordan for the last demo.
Thanks, Luke. Yes, let me share real quick. And this time it is definitely going to work. I've made a new sacrifice to the demo gods and all that. So as before, we'll pull up the camera in the work profile, and then I'm going to upload the profile to the correct team. Last time I was looking at an old enrollment in the wrong team, so sorry about that. So we're going to upload that profile or that policy. We'll go over here to this device, and then hopefully within a short time we'll get that pushed over to Google. It's similar to the Apple profile reconciler. It runs every 30 seconds, and then there's however much time it takes to actually send the profile over to Google, and for Google to send the notification to the device. Oh, there we go. So you see security policy prevents use of camera. If I try to open the camera, I'm no longer able to do that. And it shows as verified, which means we've got the confirmation back from Google that's actually got the current state of the device in it, which shows that the setting has been applied. And then just like any other, you see it's switched over to no team there, just like any other, OS settings like Apple or whatever, if I delete it, we'll go over here and it will verify the removal. So likewise, it's going to send a copy of that big policy struct over to Google. And then, once we've gone through that timing window, it should have removed that pretty shortly. So you can see the camera works again now that we've removed that, and our OS settings have disappeared because we no longer have any policies applied. So thanks for watching, and glad it worked this time.
And I will point out there's a dangerous word with translating this to make it synonymous with the rest of Fleet. Is we're calling these configuration profiles, and on the back end, users will know that this translates to an Android policy. So I think I heard 2 or 3 times, policy and or profile. So we'll try to do our best at making sure that we call these on our side profiles, but there is that little bit of translation shenanigans we're going to have to deal with.
Yep. And reason for that is we want to have consistent language across all platforms. The Fleet vision being that we can abstract away all the complexities and differences across all these different vendors and platforms and give one simple interface. So, but that is confusing when you're building integrations where you have to call it one thing and then talking about it, call it another. So definitely
And
appreciate
we
it.
have our own fleet policies, which have absolutely nothing to do with Android settings.
Right. We might be ready for a fleet dictionary with our own definitions. So that'd be a good idea.
I want a children's book.
A children's book.
You can read the fleet definitions to your kids at night.
I think mine would enjoy that. He's very stoked that we have that we run on Roblox servers. Oh, pineapple on that one. Pineapple. All right, thank you everybody. Appreciate all the hard work on this sprint. We are running a little bit behind on publishing 4.74 as I was talking about, which is going to push out 4.75 a little bit. Reason is we had a lot of patches, maybe more patches than we've ever had before this sprint cadence between Fleet D, the Tahoe release, and then kind of a slew of priority bugs that came in. So bear with us as we get through the backlog, and then we'll adjust capacity so we can catch up next sprint. Cool. Thank you, everybody. Have a great Friday and enjoy your weekend.
Bye, everyone.
Cheers.